Wow. Wow.
So I was watching Mike Pence's speech from inside of a place that only had the TV on and didn't have any audio. And just watching him was kind of like entertaining to me. Not knowing what he was saying, he kind of had this little like look about him, like his shifty eyes and kind of smiling eyes.
Pence was, that's an interesting, you don't like him?
No, I mean, it was just kind of the way, I don't know how to explain it.
All right. He was not the highlight of last night, although he was supposed to be. Turns out, Jim Rondinelli, it turns out it was Ted Cruz that took all the...
booed off the stage.
Booed off the stage. Wild. Okay, so here's what went down last night. Really incredible. And by the way, it was supposed to be a 10-minute speech. Cruz stayed on for about 25 minutes, which pushed much of Mike Pence's speech out of prime time after 11 o'clock. So I have a theory on this, and can we get Christine? Can we call her? Do you have a number on her?
Yeah.
She has a power outage this morning in the third world country known as Mississippi. Okay, so last night, Ted Cruz. Now, I'll give you my theory. Let's listen to it first. Ted Cruz spoke at the convention last night and did not endorse Donald Trump, and the crowd really, really let him have it. Listen in.
Stand and speak and vote your conscience. Vote for candidates up and down the ticket who you trust to defend our freedom and to be faithful to the Constitution.
Now, Cruz is saying his speech went long because it kept being interrupted. What are they? They're telling.
What are they chanting
I think
there?
they're chanting for him to vote for Trump.
I appreciate the enthusiasm of the New York delegation.
I think he's talking about Utica. I think Mayor Palmieri. I think I heard him.
Utica.
Utica.
That might have been Palmieri there after all.
God bless each and every one of you, and God bless the United States of America.
Oh, he was booed, and it was bad. You got to understand that these Trump supporters are. I don't know if you've dealt with it, and maybe you're not a Trump supporter, and you've kind of gotten into it with a Trump supporter. These Trump supporters can be pretty heated, and they were with Ted Cruz's wife as she was trying to exit the facility, the building last night after the booing. Rondinelli, they were screaming at her, they were chasing her out. The security had to help her out of there. They kept yelling Goldman Sachs. That's the job that she'd taken that was used against them on the campaign trail. But what are your thoughts, Jim? Is this is pretty abnormal? Not since the days of Goldwater have we seen anything like this.
Yeah, it is. I mean, pretty much when you have these conventions, it's toe the party line and everyone's
it's
rah,
a commercial.
Rah.
It's a week-long commercial.
And
yeah.
I think they knew going in though that this might possibly happen. Because
now, listen. First of all, I'll say this because you're a wrestling fan, right? You like WWE, WWF, professional wrestling. So that is my theory on the whole thing. Keep in mind when Cruz was being booed and he refused to endorse Donald Trump, the crowd's booing. People are livid. It's turned into a melee. It was anarchy in the arena. Trump appears. This is unprecedented. Normally, the candidate doesn't appear until Thursday night when he makes the big speech. But Trump has been there every night. But Trump appears from the back. All of a sudden, the crowd turns around and starts cheering Donald Trump, taking everyone away. So now they've got their back to Ted Cruz, who's on the stage. As a WWF fan, this is very familiar. This, to me, now remember that Trump knew that Cruz was not going to endorse him. As a matter of fact, Trump said he read the speech and let him go anyway. This was a staged event, I think, by Trump. I think he knew exactly what Cruz was going to do, but it adds to the drama. He knew the people in that arena were going to support him feverishly, and I think last night was a big win for Donald Trump. And it does have remnants of WWF type. Now, remember, Trump is no stranger to the WWE.
He was in one of the WrestleManias, so yeah, and he's sort of buddies with Vince McMahon.
So he knows he knows his stuff. Christine Bellino's on right now. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
How about last night? So I guess my thought would be this is completely orchestrated, I guess I would say, with Donald Trump pulling the puppet strings, knowing exactly what Ted Cruz is going to do. A crowd, he comes in, he lights up the crowd. That was a primetime moment that is only something you'd see in primetime television. Forget politics.
Right, forget politics. It's all show, and to beat Ted Cruz last night must have been awful. Like, I'm sure he's thinking, why did I even agree to do this?
I think Ted Cruz is the one who was really set up. Everybody's talking about how Donald Trump was set up by Ted Cruz. Wrong. Ted Cruz never, ever said he was going to endorse Trump. And right. The speech was done. Trump read the speech. They knew what he was going to do. They let him go up there.
Right. I think that Ted Cruz may have thought he was setting up Donald Trump, and then in perfect Trumpian fashion, Trump trumped Cruz.
I agree.
He said, fine, you're not going to endorse me. You're going to stick it to me at the convention. I will stick it to you in the final. It's about the war. It's not about these little battles.
I totally agree. And with Trump coming back in and stealing all the thunder away yet again from Ted Cruz, from Lion Ted Cruz, he would call him, it was brilliant. But and what do you think it's going to mean, Christine, for Cruz? This could be, obviously he has his supporters. Last night there was, I forget the name of the one of the billionaire supporters of the Republican supporters. They had a big reception. Cruz had a VIP invite to it. After the speech, he went to the event, and he was turned away at the door. They wouldn't let him in. Do you think this is going to be devastation for his potential to run again in 2020?
It really depends on how he handles it, because last night was supposed to be setting the stage for 2020 for Ted Cruz. Because if Trump doesn't win, then Cruz was going to say, I'm running in 2020. I don't know how Cruz handles it. He doesn't seem like the type of person who, makes lemonade out of lemons. He seems like the type of person who, when he doesn't have his way at the playground, he tucks his tail between his legs and walks away. So I don't know. This could be a transforming moment for Ted Cruz politically, and he may just, kind of wander off. I don't think that's the case, and I think supporters are certainly going to.
Well, let's remember, Ted Cruz has always been he's been the outcast. He's been the one that they said you can't trust. But in this case, he really stood up for the people who are anti-Trump. He really stood up for his supporters who and that Texas delegation, right? I mean, they're the ones that tried to disrupt things on Monday. He really stood up for his supporters. So again, out of this whole thing, in terms of the base. Trump loses nothing here, right? I think he might only gain, but I'm not sure Cruz loses anything out of his base. It goes to that middle ground. How does he walk away from this?
Right. I don't think he loses anything from his base necessarily, but I think his base is really shrinking. I mean, there were a lot of protests outside of the RNC yesterday. There was some flag burning, and I really think it was a moment for people to try to rally behind everything that Donald Trump was saying or is saying. Yeah. And I think that just inspired Trump more.
Yeah. Listen, finally, yesterday, the Trump campaign did an admission on the Melania speech. And, I keep hearing from people that you keep talking about this Melania thing. You're part of the left-wing media. This is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. No one ever said, Christine, we never said that the Melania thing was a big, terrible plagiarism thing. What we talked about right from the beginning this week is that it was a distraction. And all you had to do to make a distraction go away is just say, you know what, it was a mistake. It was not intentional, whatever. Just make it go away. But yesterday they finally admitted that there was a speechwriter. The speechwriter came forward and admitted she lifted some of it by mistake. And she volunteered to step down, and Trump said, no, you're going to stick with us.
Right, and then social media erupted with the fact that Meredith MacGyver, who's the speechwriter, doesn't exist. You know, who is she? Her profile was just put up on All American Speakers Bureau.
That is crazy.
That day.
Here's the report from World News Tonight. Listen to this.
She's been with me a long time. She's a very good person. She came to see me because she hated to see the conflict, and she made a mistake. And, you know, people make mistakes. You've made mistakes. We all make mistakes. And I guess maybe if she weren't with me for a long time and if I didn't know how good she was, I've done books with her that have been bestsellers. She's a terrific person. She just made a mistake. And I thought it was terrific the way she came forward and just said, look, it was a mistake that I made. And she thought it was very unfair to Melania.
So, Christine, I didn't get this part, but you're saying that the social media is saying she doesn't exist.
Social media is saying she does not exist, but he's right. You know, she is listed. If you Google her name, it comes up with all these books from Amazon.com. But the All American Speakers Bureau had a profile of her that they say was put up pretty recently. And if you search her on Google, because I spent a good 20 minutes doing this yesterday, you only come up with a couple of images of her. So she's supposedly 65 years old. She was like a ballerina when she was younger, but she has been a writer, and she's not very tech savvy. She's one of these people who's not on Facebook, not on the internet.
Well, you know that Donald Trump had a few aliases, right? He used to pretend to be his own publicist, they say, and you know, maybe this is just another identity for Donald Trump here. Who knows? Listen, other news that's going on right now. And by the way, Michael says Trump coming in like the wrestler, The Undertaker, coming in with the church bells are ringing. It was WWF-like last night. But what I think it's kind of a brilliant move by Trump. Create all that drama. Okay, so this I need to ask you, Christine. I know you've been following this Oscar Pistorius thing. You know he's been sentenced to 6 years in prison. Well, now prosecutors say they once again are going to appeal the sentence for murder, calling it shockingly lenient. This judicial system is nothing like ours.
Nothing like ours. And why are they doing this? Because, you know, what if they find the same result, or what if the sentence next time is more lenient? You know, are they just? I think they're just trying to get at Oscar Pistorius's psyche.
Yeah, it is. But didn't they appeal the first
time
judgment from the judge? So,
right.
But in the United States, obviously, in our system, there's a thing called double jeopardy. You just can't keep trying somebody until you get the verdict that you're looking for. And I guess in South Africa, it's not like that. So. Just really a crazy story, but and so was the 6-year sentence. That certainly was lenient, right?
Right, but they didn't think that they could get.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, obviously that was the best that they could get. The best.
Interesting story locally. You know that the legislature, the Common Council in the city of Utica, is putting this plan forward to pave all of Utica in so many years. Every street in Utica will end up being paved.
15 years.
15 years.
At a cost of $5 million a year.
A year. And they're saying that it's a pretty decent tax increase in order to pull this thing off. So they're debating back and forth, saying, where's the money going to come from? It's never going to happen. You think it's going to happen?
I don't know. Well, they're not specifically calling it a tax increase. I mean, I talked to Joe Marino when the proposal first came out last week, and they're trying to emphasize it's not really a tax increase. What they're going to do is they're mandated to have $2 million in each budget for road paving, and they get another $500,000 payment from the Mohawk Valley Water Authority every year for the next 20 years, I think. Yeah. So there's $2.5 million. So what they would do is bond for the other $2.5 million each year. There comes your $5 million.
All right.
Well, and what I'd ask is, in 15 years, by the time you pave all the roads, what happens to the one you paved 10 years before that now needs the repair?
The problem. I mean, you're in upstate New York. We're paving the roads.
The shelf life's like 6 years on a road.
But speaking of paving, when they announced this proposal, they did it in front of a home, and I can't remember where the street was. It was in South Utica someplace. But the man had lived in his home for 45 years, and the street has never been paved once.
45
years. Wow.
Well, I think he should be first. Rachel Sutherland from Fox News standing by on the line right now. And Rachel, Yet another amazing night at the convention. What do you think?
Oh, it was incredible and kind of unexpected because yesterday I went to a news conference with Trump spokesman Paul Manafort, and he said that about Cruz's speech. He said, look, we trust that what is in this speech is going to be acceptable to the Trump campaign. And they hadn't seen it, but they were going to see it shortly. Turns out, I guess Donald Trump saw it about 2 hours before Cruz was set to take the floor and decided to let him anyway. He took to Twitter. And that just sent the crowd over the top when he just said the 3 words, vote your conscience. He did not endorse.
It is, and he had so many opportunities to even say the reason, we Republicans are endorsing Donald Trump. He didn't have to even specifically say it was him, but those words, actually the words Donald Trump only came out of his mouth one time at the beginning when he congratulated him.
Yeah. You make a very good point. A lot of people were saying, well, perhaps Cruz would use this opportunity to set up another presidential run down the line. He's a young man. He's only like around 44, something like that. So he could. And I'm wondering what his end game is with this, because maybe he's seeing the Trump phenomenon as being a short-lived thing. When you look at 20 years from now, or even 10 years from now, maybe in the light of history, Trump will have a different kind of meaning than he does right now. So he's looking further down the line.
My theory is that brilliant on the part of Donald Trump. This is so WWE-like. That you create this drama. Your supporters are going to be up in arms. It's going to deliver electricity into the arena. And it's exactly what he did when he came in from the back and made an appearance. Yeah. Incredible.
It was incredible, especially when that moment when he came in the back. It was almost like, Dad is here. But we're in trouble. Cruz is in trouble. But then, but Cruz didn't care. And it was just, you're right. It was almost a smackdown atmosphere, and it was amazing. Some people are saying this convention has been boring, but I haven't been bored for 1 second.
Yeah,
because we're working. But have you heard about the Stephen Colbert condiments cam?
No.
It's ridiculous. You should check that out. It's just funny.
It's the condiments cam.
What he's got is a hidden camera that is trained on a condiment station at the RNC. So people are coming up, putting mustard on hot dogs and things like that. And this one guy last night in my hotel room, I was trying to go to sleep, but I was hyped up from the day. So this one guy comes over. It's a live stream, and he's sitting there eating a hot dog on top of a trash can.
Oh, dear God!
It's really ridiculous, funny stuff.
So this is like a real voyeurism moment where it's a live cam just watching and focused in on this table with condiments.
Very Truman Show-esque.
That is so funny.
They're getting napkins. They're scratching themselves. They're doing.
Well, is it like the slot machine that you can't walk away from because you think the next poll is going to be the jackpot?
That's exactly right. I probably watched that thing for a good hour last night.
Wow, that's awesome.
I needed to sleep.
That is incredible. All right, Rachel. Listen, as always, thanks so much and keeping us up to date on what's going on over there. We really, really appreciate it. Rachel Sutherland, Christine, the condiments cam, brilliant. Wish I'd have thought of that one.
I know.